3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I did not start out my volunteer career with CoreNet with the intent of becoming a chapter leader, but after about 6 or 7 years volunteering on both the dinner and the New Year's committee, I had risen to the role of the vice chair of the committee because I'd gotten so much value out of it. I saw a lot of the reward of the time I've been investing in that, and I got a call then from Dan Fishbein, who was the chapter chair, who had asked if I wanted to take over the role of something that they were calling communities, which was just the grouping of all the content producing elements within the chapter. So to do this, I understood that it was going to be a larger commitment of time. So at that point, I had to sit down with my manager to see if the ROI of this time commitment would be worth it for me, both professionally and personally. We did make the decision, obviously, to go forward with it, and I can say happily that here I am, 6 or 7 years removed from that, and it was definitely worth it. There's so many accomplishments that we've achieved as a chapter, and I'm proud of all of them. When I first got involved with the chapter, Jason Astor, Sheena Gohill, and Neil Austin were standing up the reorg of the entire organization of the chapter and how we functioned. And at that point, I took over. That was the beginning of January 2020. And we all know what happened then, the pandemic hit. So at a very short period, this newly reorganized structure was put to a very hard test. And without that structure in place, in my opinion, I don't think we would have been able to pivot as quickly as we did to a virtual means of dissemination of our content. All of our chapter members and volunteers pulled together and did a phenomenal job, in my opinion, the best job throughout CoreNet Global, of disseminating virtual information in a very quick, real-time manner. Well, the pandemic pivot was very rewarding in terms of getting through that the way we did. So that would have to be the biggest challenge. But the reward that I can take away from my time as a volunteer, I'd have to say, would be learning how to manage laterally. I'd say, managing up, managing down. As a service provider, put in a leadership role for the chapter, you have to put the needs of the chapter and the chapter's members as paramount. And sometimes that requires a service provider to have difficult conversations with people above them on the food chain, if you will, in the business world. So with an end user or a service provider who can influence my success, you have to have challenging conversations. And I learned pretty quickly that the two skills you really have to hone to do that are your listening skills and your ability to manage with data. If you're coming to these difficult conversations without facts and data and the ability to listen, you're never going to have success. So that was one thing that I personally took away from my, the challenges that I faced as a leader. That's an easy question. Without a doubt, the people of the chapter. In no uncertain terms, CoreNet has the best and the brightest professionals in the industry, bar none. I've been involved with a few other different industry organizations, but there's no doubt, locally here in New York and globally, the best and the brightest are with CoreNet Global. Certainly, it's been a large impact. Before anyone embarks on a leadership role, it's important that you get the buy-in and the support of both your family and your employer. And I consider myself lucky that I've had both, in an extreme sense. Both Structure Tone and my family have very much been supportive of the time that I've committed, and it's definitely yielded rewards. I personally have to say that I now, as a result of being immersed in a leadership role with so many of these other people, I now consider them personal friends. They come to my house, I go to their house, we know each other's children, and these are friendships that I know and I'm confident will last me beyond my professional career.